Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
you don't see how sucky nice.
Hey, listen, there's no better way than doing it live, right?
I got them 100%.
All right, so I mentioned it earlier. So we ran into how many of us get the ideas of putting our content out there and so let me stop sharing so I can see everybody for a second. We get the ideas of putting our content. We have ChatGPT email us right every morning how many emails we're sending and how many emails we're getting and what we're doing. And then we tell Chat to also tell us to gives you maybe a short blurb, like you guys know when I send the daily motivational or the daily text messages and stuff like that, and then we forget to post it, right? How many of us are guilty of that, right? If you're setting up the automation or you're getting the images or you're not, or you're doing this, right? So I've been for so long, right? The admins do it, right, while they're doing 17,000 other things for us. And I was like, I gotta find a way to do the connection, right? So I finally did. So there's something called Buffer, Buffer. And what it basically does is literally create a buffer connection between your chat info or Claude or whatever you're using, and it connects the data, and then it will go and post onto your social media, right? So, so now you got to think, obviously, some of us are more creative than others, and you have a specific brand that you're looking to target, whether it's for real estate, whether it's for flooring, whether it's insurance, whether it's embroidery, right? So take creativity, right? That's the most important part because right now we all know a lot of people are putting out these cheesy flyers and stuff, and I fucking love it, right? I don't really care. People say it's not authentic, it's authentic, but at least they're putting something out, right? So at least the algorithm's going to pick it up. Maybe it smacks them on the wrist because it's AI, who knows, right? But I hate when people say, "Oh, that's AI." They're so lazy. Well, they're posting it. You're not, buddy. So there's that. But to that point too, right? We need to think creativity wise, where it's unique, things like that. But what I always see the success of it too is doing it consistently. So if we can leverage Chat or Claude to do it consistently, most of us here have a Canva account. Anybody here heard of Canva, right? Canva, right? It all connects, right? So that's what I want us to think is how do we connect everything into one instead of manually doing it here and then pulling it here and then pulling it there. And then one day we feel, sick and whatever, and we're not going to post. And then we go down a rabbit hole of not posting at all, right? The other cool part about Buffer is, if you really wanted to take, say, um, let's call it an hour of your time and post content in advance, it does. And then it basically schedules it. Now, yes, Facebook does the same thing where you could sit there and schedule. But again, we talk about having one platform to do it for all, right? So then basically you have that opportunity to do it. So if you guys really sat maybe one day, or you hired somebody from Fiverr or whatever to start creating content for you temporarily, right? They could basically do it, give it to you, and you guys can go into Buffer, schedule it, and power it out everywhere, right? It's been pretty cool. And I shared recently the last stat that we had in the last 30 days. We had 497,000 views, which is pretty cool. And I don't think I did anything different except maybe recently we started doing a little bit more of the face-to-face videos. I kind of shied away from that. But doing it consistently, and then you're going to learn. Sometimes especially Instagram algorithm right now is so screwed up. But it's going to smack you on the wrist as you start, friend requesting and things. My account actually got suspended like 3 weeks ago on Instagram. I was like freaking out, but we had, three different people basically working on it at the same time. One person was commenting, one person was doing this. Buffer was doing the post, and then the team was doing the scheduling at the same time. So Hoopsuite, it's funny, right? We were just talking about Hoopsuite. Hoopsuite was one. What I am not familiar personally with Hoopsuite, if it still does it, is I don't know if it internally will connect with Chat and allow it the opportunity to also connect from Chat to Hootsuite, and Hootsuite does the scheduling. I used to use Hootsuite, this is like 12 years ago, in the law firm days, where that was the platform that was out there. It's funny, Gil, yeah, he had mentioned the same. So Hootsuite might be another one, honestly, Ellie, that also does that as well. She had asked that question in the chat. I've just recently been constantly running into buffer after buffer after buffer, that same platform. So we ended up kind of literally base diving into it and kind of sticking with that platform.
Are you gonna walk through the data flow you're using?
Um,
I'm kind of curious on like the chat to the chat.
Yes,
Canva,
yeah, so that was actually, it's funny, Myra gave the suggestion where it was like, instead of me just vomiting info, actually sharing with you guys how to actually do the connection.
Okay.
And we started doing that a lot in person. So I'll actually share how we did it. And then normally what we do is when we finish this session, I actually give us all I call it an implementation brief. So everybody at home, because we dive this into an hour. So everybody at home, hopefully, can actually go and you sit, behind your computer and we actually start executing on this stuff, right? So we'll kind of go through that. Anybody have any questions? Good, cool. Yes, I will go through an example right now, Ellie. So let me share the screen. So, because you guys asked, and I knew you guys were gonna ask, this is a step-by-step guide of how to actually do it. So again, it goes chat to buffer. Zapier is something we could talk later. But if you guys go here, so the first step, you guys will create the buffer workspace. You will connect your social media, and I'll show you guys an example. You will build what you want to schedule. You will create your categories, establish the approval rule, which is what you and I were talking about, right? I never post got the client the lowest interest rate for this because you're tiptoeing. When we do post interest rates, it's coming from a specific website, Mortgage News Daily, and there's always like a little disclaimer on there based on where it came from. And I know most of our industries, Derek, I know your industry is extremely heavily regulated, right? As financial advisors and stuff like that, real estate agents as well. Sometimes realtors and mortgage people, we get away with a little bit until you don't, and then you're stuck having to fix it. But suggest, and then here you go. So this will teach you guys specifically what to do, how to connect it. So in Buffer, open the settings, look at the API, the integration, grab the key and stuff like that. And like we always do, right? I know most of us have done it. I know Mark has sat down with us and we could literally show you, like if you came in and set up a one-to-one, we can actually do the connection for you. Run a safe test, ask ChatGPT to do it. Different commands too. So show me what in scheduling Mortgage's LinkedIn page and it'll do it. Rewrite the market update for LinkedIn. So market update is a big one. You guys remember, so think now, guys, big picture, when we start talking about blogs, right? We talk about blogs all the time and stuff like that, right? Writing on the screen. You write with blogs and stuff like that. You have the opportunity to now create those blogs in advance and then now start posting it, right? So now you guys are going to get picked up. Remember when we talked about AEO and GEO, where you're not just getting found on Google, you're getting found by AI to crawl onto your website. This is now going to do that automatic posting for you, right? Anybody have any questions on that? So, and we all know again how to access this, right? You guys will go to the Elevated Alliance website. And then the Elevated Alliance website will give you guys the opportunity to do it, right? So mark it up, and this is just from like where we pull it. So I gave you guys a prompt. So market update, turn the notes below into 3 social posts, Google, Instagram, boom, boom. Come from me, so it's gonna be confident but educational, explain to buyers. We have mortgage education, if there's a specific topic, what to say, realtor partner value. So if you're going to create something to a referral partner, right? Create a realtor facing form, position Guide Mortgage as a strategic lending partner, communication speed, repurpose the transcript. So like I said earlier, and I think we're doing it with Drew, when you want something to be given to you, it's why, how, what. Why are you doing it? How do you want it given to you? And what is the final product, right? We remember when we read Simon Sinek, Andrew. I take that approach honestly now with a lot of the stuff. Mortgage, again, this is just going to be my stuff, but mortgage content guidelines, right? Don't talk about rates, don't talk about APR. So think about that in your business, right? If you guys have maybe about never talk about real estate agents, I don't know, dual agency and maybe never talk about guaranteeing somebody's lowest insurance quote or giving you the lowest, flooring contracts, right? Whatever the case may be, so then it's there. And you guys can go through it. Okay. So exiting that, I gave us also different prompt examples too. So when we talk about the blogs, so now you take the blog, you let the blog spit it out to you. And then if you took buffer, now it's gonna auto schedule it, and now your blog's cool, right? Going out. Social media, same thing. If you wanted to create social media campaigns, same exact platform, right? Persuasive email. I was just sharing with Gil and Andrew earlier, right? We have within our Google Drive, we have a recruiting one that we have been doing with LinkedIn. And it's a 365-day basically content that we had it pulled to 12-month queue. And essentially for the last 12 months, it's posting onto our LinkedIn specifically the stuff that I wanted to essentially target. And it's pulling it literally every single thing. I have found specifically personally for me, LinkedIn is more engaging with the text rather than images. You know, for Facebook, it changes, Instagram it changes, but you guys can see that, right? And it pulls truly 360 days of content that is created
You populate that content using.
through AI.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gave it the theme for any given month.
Yeah, so we actually had it, so production, so the way we did it, right? Production in April, because again, that's usually when loan officers are looking to leave, and then it takes them about 2 months to leave by the time they found a place. The hard truth, the same thing, based on hard truth about multiple offer situation. Why? Because multiple offer situations is teeing them up at the end of March. Because now we're getting into the spring market. And again, that's what I talk about, the creativity side with it, rather than just give me a bunch of shit, right? You know, and then knowing, like I said, I themed it based on direct relationships, themed it based on team infrastructure, themed it based on this, and you'll see it posting constantly and daily, right? On live scenarios and stuff, you know, spring season pitch. Why? Because it's April, right? And all that fun stuff. So yeah, this I'm not going to go over with us for the sake of time, but this was one that I just ran for our company yesterday. It was a brand ambassador call. I figured I would share it with you guys on how to shoot your content. So how to stop the scroll, right? Coming up with the high impact hook, like we always talk about. So it's the hook, your validation, what you're trying to do, and guiding them. Basically, it's also called CTA, right? Your call to action, what you're looking for them to do, reach out to you. So this is something you guys can go through later on your own, various different recommendations and stuff of, you know, traditionally people usually say the challenge is you say, here are recommendations. Here's why you shouldn't wait to buy a home. Here's what versus like buying your first home feels more overwhelming than it should. Who agrees? And then someone's gonna be like, "Fuck, I feel that way," and then you're able to simultaneously target them better. I'm not the greatest at that, honestly, either. But you know, we're learning along the way, and the recent analytics show it. All right, so let me show you guys how to do the connection. So if everybody wants to open their chat, you guys can see, if you guys remember, we did this connection last time, and we all created our own custom GPTs or connected our calendars. You guys would go here. It used to be called member connectors. They have now changed it to plugins. So you guys go to plugins, and then you guys would have the opportunity to either search for Buffer or search for whichever platform it is. In this case, Buffer came up to me first. I would hit Buffer, and I would do the connection, and now it's connected for me internally, right? It says, it pulls exactly, you'll see where's the channel, where do I want to get it from, and that fun stuff. Okay. So again, you guys go here, you go to your personalization, you go to plugins, and then if you can't find it, right, you browse for the plugin, and then you simply search Buffer. Yeah, so if it's not in there, I'll send you guys how I to be honest, because I didn't have it in there either. I had to build it out manually with the MCP. So I'll give that to you guys. Remember, I had mentioned that earlier. I'll give that for you guys. It's a little not gonna say complicated, but it's pretty easy. You hit the plus sign, and then you add it as a plugin manually. And then you just drop the connection. Or I'll do that on our email recap. So you guys have it. It's like I said, it's not that complicated. I'll even show you.
I'm curious on something. It seems like you've done a lot of these. When you authenticate these plugins, do you typically create a separate account for it? Or do you just like use your personal account, give it your credentials within, I don't know, whatever you're connecting to?
Everything you, for us as a team, everything builds off of info at Got Mortgages.
Okay.
That's like
So
the
you're
admin
creating
for our
that-
workspace.
you're getting that one.
Yeah, that's our admin for our workspace, and then that's what kind of filters through Trevor bids that through everything else. So
Thanks.
yeah, you got it. I definitely don't recommend using a personal email. I recommend a Google Workspace, Google or Outlook or whatever it is. But yeah, here I'll share with you. But you would go to Buffer, you'd get the settings of the API. Now, Buffer does do a 14-day trial for free. So if you guys wanted to try it, and again, there's like to Ellie's point, right? There's so many platforms. The purpose of this is I could share with you guys what we're actually fucking doing, right? Not the stuff that usually people just sit there and talk about and then don't actually show you. So I'll show you again. So we've been doing it for the last 16 weeks. Our commenting sucks. I'm not the greatest at commenting, just because I have a timer on my phone, right? It's going to show you like today, it has a scheduled post that's going out, right? It's going to tell you, we did 460 closing last year. Again, the reason mid-year loan officers plateaus, if 17 days, watch our daughter go through options literally right the other day with a client, my 14-year-old daughter's going through options with clients. So, and she's got the script, she's got the template, she knows what to say, and then obviously we're, but this is the cool part. So for insights, as you guys connect this stuff, so I only have 4 channels connected. So it has to be a business page, by the way, too. So if you guys don't have your Instagrams as personal, one for a multitude of reasons, but it has to be a business page, right? So if it's not, it's a very simple, you go to your settings and you switch to professional account, and then it will pull it up. You cannot post to your personal Facebook page. It has to be a business page as well. So Meta that's for multiple reasons. Boosting your ads, putting ads out there and stuff like that has to be a business page. LinkedIn, again, traditionally is going to be a business page. And then YouTube, obviously for YouTube, it's gonna put video content out there. But then again, it's going to show you based on the contents, how it's doing within multiple platforms, how you're doing within the last 7 days, how many times you've posted, how many followers you've had, reactions, comments, engagement, right? So my engagement previously was lower at 5, now it's at 6. Cool. That means the team is doing a little bit more. 5,000 views, what's working well, and so on and so forth. Now, if you guys want to do the connection, you would add another channel or add a post or connect a new channel. And here is where you guys would start, right? Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And then obviously from there, it will automatically pull the dynamics and take it. This was something I was showing with Andrew earlier. So if you go to community, which is the part where I said we suck at commenting back, right? It will actually tell you. So here, like I owe these people essentially comments, right? It will tell me if I responded to people or not. So now if you have an admin, that is something that you can obviously delegate to have them constantly check this daily and then be able to go in and comment on certain stuff and where the stuff needs to be responded to. Right. If you want to create, like I said, you can go in here. It's obviously in this case, because I don't create it, I don't create the content through here. I have chat does the creation for me because it's automatic. It goes to Buffer does a connection. But those of you guys again who maybe have a bunch of stuff, your CRM does it, your company gives it to you or whatever, and you want it to go elsewhere, you can download it externally and then start creating templates from here. And then you can even ask it to generate ideas for you and all that stuff. Cool. Anybody have any questions? Pretty straightforward. Cool. So, and then the last thing I was going to share with us is, so what we've recently been doing is basically organizing a lot of this stuff into a 1-page, basically recap for all of us, because it is a lot. So now you guys will go here and it's going to go through basically everything that we just touched on. So online visibility, I hate the saying, it's true. People need to know you, like you, and trust you. The ROI, obviously, on your posting on social media, is it working, right? So far this year, we have about 14% of our business came from social media, so which is pretty good, right? Choosing the right content, showing up everywhere, going deep with your relationships. The audience segment. So we've talked about this before. So in your CRM, how you guys are also like organizing your clients. Usually it's hot, warm, nurture, right? As opposed to cold. I don't think clients should go cold. I think they just need to be nurtured, whether it's a pricing issue or whether it's whatever it is, right? The content mix, so in my opinion, should be educational behind the scenes. So I've recently been doing a lot of like, hey, just help the client. They just had a low credit score. We did a rapid restore. We did this. Or just had a client, 1.35 appraisal. We ended up coming in at 1.2. We disputed it, got to 1.3. So many different ways that I have found those to be engaging. The different steps to lead gen. So set your goals, build your foundation, build your brand, promote relentlessly again, and go through all this Canva hack. So we talked about Canva before, but Canva can also simultaneously create this stuff automatically for you. If maybe you run out of tokens, right, within Claude or Chat, Canva can create this automatically and bulk create the different designs as well. So maybe sometimes it doesn't come off as nice and pretty within Chat because it looks overly AI generated. Canva can simultaneously create it for you guys as well. These are just pretty much the different stuff that we have that we've been using consistently, and I gave it to us, right? So Canva, Buffer later is another one, LinkedIn or Hootsuite to that point. Different platforms also that we're kind of using, and then just the different stuff that you guys should do. So like what we just did for Drew now, Google yourself or run the custom GPT, create that value stack, build it, set up those templates, use either the Canva AI or your own AI to create the 10 designs, record 3 videos, and use those 3 videos, right? A lot of the times when a client goes through a transaction with us, and I think some of the realtors on here have seen it, the video that goes out to them, hey, file was just approved. That was a video we shot 3 years ago, right? The client doesn't know that, but it goes through that specific stage. So the client's like, oh my God, the lender just took their time to explain to me this is where the file is at, rather than obviously it being a stick figure video. The clients may appreciate it, or depending on who it is, maybe they don't give a shit, right? But it still goes out automatically. Schedule the content across all the platforms. And like I said, try to schedule them and nurture them, right? So it's hot, warm, nurture. They go from nurture to warm to hot, to vice versa. Never delete the lead, right? I always tell the team, no, don't delete it. Just tag it as nurture or tag it as trash. And then you'll have that opportunity to be able to go back and re-engage them, right? So there's a few things here, again, just the bottom line things to concentrate on and stuff and take it from there. So I wanted to go really quick because I wanted to give us at least like 15, 20 minutes just to kind of like hear also what a lot of us have been doing, some of the success strategies and things, so that way we're not just hearing it from me. And we'll kind of take it from there. So anybody have any questions before we kind of shift to that?
Yeah, I got a question, Abdel. What's going on, man? So Goosehead is like super strict with like allowing access to chat GPTs or anything like that. Like they don't want that attached to their system, I guess. They're probably afraid something will happen. So I'm creating like I guess what do you think the best way is? I'm creating maybe like a Google like Derek does insurance at gmail.com type of thing, and then like just transcribe everything into there and manually and do it that way, I guess. Do you think
Yeah, I mean,
that's
listen, I can tell you ours is pretty much the same way in terms of compliance, right? That's why everything is through Got Mortgages. Now I'm a direct, literally now as of the start of this month, I'm direct wholesale correspondent relationships. So it's different, but having that opportunity at the same time to run things through Got Mortgages. Now, obviously you gotta be smart. You're not, like I said, uploading fucking credit reports and socials and things
right, right.
like that. But I was sharing with Gil earlier, I use so much more AI also from an operations perspective, like the automatic, things that the team can kind of help out with rather than the sales marketing, right? I never lead with interest rate. I'm sure you don't lead with pricing. I can't imagine them busting your chops about that. I'm also confident they probably have their own AI platforms too at the same time, right?
Right.
So I would definitely lean on the stuff that they've built out from a sales marketing perspective. Because I'm gonna imagine they probably have a higher budget than you and I combined times 10 to come up with this stuff. But I'm all for, in my opinion, right? Creating a subdomain, right, wherever you do it, and then kind of building it all. Especially because if you ever went up and got up and left Goosehead and
Right.
went to Allstate or State Farm to an extent, right? You're not losing that proprietary information that's yours, right?
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, right? Whenever we're building out that stuff, it's such a gray area, right? Like in 2 weeks, I'm going to Housing Wire to literally specifically talk about exactly what I just shared with you guys, and amongst other stuff. And a big key proponent of it is AI governance, right? Is how much can you let your, in my world, right, originators go and try to run their own thing and do their own thing and then become sloppy, right? And then you have issues along the way, right? What we always try to do is build out the stuff for salespeople. So for you, build out the stuff for your sales professionals. So it's also within your confines. So in that way, if that originator leaves or sales professional leaves, for me, it's Trevor knows it's an easy kill switch button, right? But then the information stays for you, right? And you stays within your confines. And I think the same applies to a company too. But you again, what we're seeing now, I mean, look, OpenAI just got hacked, right? I think it was 2 weeks ago. They got hacked, and that's a big deal. So if you have clients' information and things like that coming out, you're gonna be exposed. So being careful to what to update and stuff. And that's why you'll see a lot of it we're using more for like branding. So like the got branding or the AI for the Elevated Alliance in terms of just how to build it. I'm never really sitting there, even the guidelines one, like Santi sees it whenever we have guideline questions, we're going in there. We're not saying John Doe has X amount in his credit and then this and then that. It will actually block it. It won't take it. Because if it does take it, I know it's not mine. I know it's probably something that the loan officer themselves is building out, and then you have a way bigger problem in your hands from there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, but I personally think I'm all for you creating your own infrastructure and then just being cautious on what to update and stuff like that. And holding your company accountable too, right? To, hey, dude, I'm seeing State Farm has this for their people. Why don't we? Right. And then kind of forcing their hand at the same time.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else have any questions? We're good. All right, I'm going to start at the top left of my screen. So, Myra, that's you. If you want to kind of just share with us what are some of the things that you've been seeing having success with you that the team can kind of simultaneously replicate within their business as well. I could probably try to mute you if you want. There you go.
Did you unmute me?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Hold on. So now my whole screen. So I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
So the question is, obviously, it's what I want to start doing a little bit differently is, speaking for about 30 minutes and then also opening the floor for you guys, right? Giving
Yeah.
each other the opportunity. Like, what have you been doing differently that you've started to see some success with, or vice versa? Some of the stuff that you're pounding your head on, like Drew just said, Derek just said, that you're trying to, maybe seek some guidance from some of us.
I'll tell you, the summer, especially this last month, I've been dealing with a lot of personal issues. So my business, it's kind of stalled in terms of my social media growth, but I think that's okay because I do feel as though in this business, you can't always peak. Like there has to be valleys. And if your life naturally has a valley, like I had to deal with some death in the family and just some moving around of the kids and everything like that. So life happens for us as well as for our clients. And what I was able to do then was I took that time. Oh, good morning. I took that time and then I was kind of able to pivot and see, okay, well, I did just close the largest sale in Manalapan. So let me start to create some material supporting that. And then also maybe trying to create that same environment within other towns as well, especially Asbury Park. Now that I'm in Asbury Park, I have a meeting set up with the developer of the newest building here, Lido. That's going to be up in like 2027. We're talking about doing some collabs. So sometimes I feel as though if you do have a little slump in your marketing, it's a good time to reassess and just kind of figure out a new direction and maybe get some inspiration from that. So that's kind of my summer in a nutshell so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of us can attest to it too, from the market, the economy, getting our butt, kicked. That's awesome. I think too, you hyper focusing on a local niche too, right? If any of us want to comment too, right? Where you're in Asbury, I think the most successful in our industry real estate professionals are the one that hyper focus on that specific area. And then it gives you that voice of reason and confidence. Or like Victor, right? When Victor broke his foot or whatever he did, partying too hard. And he had mentioned that he took that step back too to assess his business. So kudos to you for taking that advantage of that time too, and taking it from there. So definitely excited to see what you guys put together.
Thank you.
Love it. Derek, how about you? I know you talked about wanting to bash your head in because of Goosehead, but what else you got going on?
Yeah, I'm working on kind of winning fast, losing fast. I've kind of I'm learning the hard way where I'm just kind of going after people, especially like clients that are not answering me in a timely fashion. Like, hey, just to try and close some deals, and I waste a lot of time doing that. So same thing with I'm learning that with a lot of people that I go after for business as well. If I'm not getting any traction, I'm kind of just trying to move on quicker than what I was doing before. And that's hard for me because I always like, hey, what's going on? Just let me know. Let me hear back. And not everybody's is they either don't check their emails, they don't check their messages, whatever the case may be. So I'm trying to get better with just saying, okay, well, if I don't hear back from you from a certain time, I'm just going to move on to the next one and see what sticks.
Yeah, I think we all probably suffer from that too, right? Where you're like, this client's different, right? And then you're like, no, he shopped me. This client's different, and then it's like, no, he busted my chops about price, right? It's such a fine line. It's the cliche saying, right? Hire slow, fire fast, and I think it applies to both, employees and it applies both to clients. So keep at it because one of the things I think that I would love for all of us, if you guys do, is we could all hold each other's accountable. So then maybe in 2 weeks we could be like, hey, dude, what's going on? Have you found the best benefit? Maybe are you putting like a specific, let's call it like the word that comes to mind is like statute limitation, but like a statute limitation to you going after a partner, and then you're like, this fucker didn't answer me after like 2 months. I'm gonna cut him and keep it moving. I've found that sometimes more purposeful, right? Where it's like, all right, I'm going to give this person 60 days. We're going to keep messaging them. And then that way we can all, instead of, holding our, keeping ourselves at the same time, to Myra's point, right, accountable, we can all maybe lean on each other's and be like, no, you know what? Fuck them. Keep it going. Or, you know what? Maybe the other cool part, and I actually love this as much as I love BNI and hate BNI. I love that because I'm a part of it. That when people ask for recommendations and stuff, they actually say specific people. And I don't know. I found it kind of cheesy at first, right? Where it's like, when you ask for recommendations, I'm looking for, a real estate agent or a title company. People, the ones that I've seen that are seasoned, have actually been like putting like someone specific, like John Doe from Surgery Center, and I'm like, this is like the stupidest thing. And then what I've noticed, being there for a little bit, is that person basically, someone knew somebody who actually knew that person and then did the connection and things like that. So the reason why I bring that up is even in confidence, if you were like, hey, Myra, this real estate agent is not answering me. Do you by any chance know her? And then, if Myra likes you, she'll be like, yeah, cool. I can maybe put in a good word. I think that would be cool at the same time for us to do. But good stuff, man. Definitely. Again, you're not alone, in my opinion. I'm sure some of us can say the same. You're not alone in that regards, right? Where you should have dropped that client faster. You probably should have stopped chasing that person, or maybe kept chasing that person, right? I'm quick to fucking kill. That's just my personality, and I think sometimes I need to be like, no, slow down. It's okay. Learn, and I think it's a learning experience along the way too. So, Mark, how about you, my friend? Let me unmute you.
I'm good now. Hey, everybody.
Go
We have a lot going on, and thanks to you, we are scaling, and I'm trying to step back some, and we actually hired a company that's going to help us scale because we have to go from day one, and it's working out beautifully. And thanks to what we've done here, a lot of things are very similar. and I'm catching on much more quickly, and I appreciate that. And my son is going to come kind of do what I'm doing, and I'm going to move up and just have less communication. And all this stuff is kind of what sparked this in me, because I'm getting tired and I want to cut back and I want to just sell. And I'm really happy about it. And just from listening and learning from everybody, it's been a great experience. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you've identified, because we've talked time and time again, but what you've identified is your skill is business development, right? As I think probably most of us is, and not dealing with day-to-day operations,
Absolutely.
right?
As they said in this course that I'm in, I am the bottleneck.
Mhm.
Nobody else is I'm the bottleneck, because it's my business and everything was going through me. And we grew to a point where that's when I kind of got involved with you. We grew to a point where, like, I can't do this. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And this is changing it a lot for us. And I can't wait to sit back and watch my son take over, because I know he's going to do a great job.
Let's go. You can put him in a headlock too if he doesn't. So that's the good part at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to fight him anymore. I think those things are over.
Well, congratulations. Definitely excited to see your success. And I know we're running into each other's all the time. So I know
it's great.
Networking for you is huge.
Yeah. And that's what I want to keep doing. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. And bring in orders and grow the business in that way, and let them grow the business, and not get a touch on my shoulder. You know, they call it shoulder touches, shoulder taps. I don't want no more shoulder taps. I don't want to hear it. Let you guys got it. And let's grow this business, and we're going to probably have to hire 2 more people. And you know, we're going to have different divisions, and I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty exciting. I've never done it before. So
I love it. Well, good stuff. You've come a long way from hiring your first admin, which I know was trials and tribulations, and then
she could hear you right now, just so you know. She's on my other screen.
So don't talk smack.
She's the best.
All right, cool. All right, good stuff, man.
She
Victor,
doesn't even know I'm talking about her.
I love it. Victor, what do you got for us, my friend?
Being through a crazy journey lately. Company so far compared to past year, we are doing twice as much from last year, and I share the same feeling of Mark just said. I'm just find out that I'm completely the bottleneck of it, and I'm trying to explore options to stop being this guy, because for me right now, I can't even turn myself off for a minute. You know, my phone blows all the time. Everything goes through me, and other than having my secretary now, my VA that answers the phone, schedule the estimates and follow-ups on estimates, ask for reviews. This is a lot of weight that got out of my shoulder, but I'm still like selling, putting the estimates together, placing the order on the material, organizing the crews, and doing the final walkthroughs. And I I could be naming stuff that I do here for the rest of the day, and it's just like so much. I'm super blessed to be like in a position that we grow this business to twice as big as we were last year this same time. But at the same time, I'm extremely exhausted and trying to find a way out of it, being the one who's actually handle every little thing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
I'm glad you broke your foot the other day, because it helped you sit back. I think one of the hardest parts is the stages in your business where you're stuck and then you're looking to scale. That is by far the ceiling where you break from going to 1 million to 10 million, or $5 to 500,000. I think finding the trusted person, in my opinion, from that operations perspective, right? Like that was my Pam. And then you break that ceiling, and then always having that trusted person to handle that. In your case, I'll relate it to like invoicing and scheduling and materials and guidelines and things like that. And then I think hiring salespeople, right, is the easy part, right? For you, hiring a sales contractor to come in and do the job, and then you basically delegating them, finding that trusted confidant. So I'm definitely excited to hear more from you. And even guys, I think it's important too for us to even talk to each other as one-on-one and be like, how the fuck did you grow 2 times, right? How are you doing that? And I think a lot of us can share the same strategies, whether it's you got the Google My Business profile and you got social media. And I'd love for us to kind of engage that way, so we could all learn from one another, at the same time.
And I'd love
Gina,
to maybe sometime next week get a one-on-one with you just to kind of
yeah,
get a little pieces of advice as to what should I do next and what kind of people should I be looking to add in the team soon. If it is maybe a salesperson or maybe I don't know, a project manager, or I'm literally kind of lost in what can I do next to free my time a little bit so I can focus and grow even more, because I don't want to stop here. I just I feel like I'm just getting started and I'm building something nice and I want to keep growing. But at the
yeah,
same time,
we could
I don't
I'll
really
text
know.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll text you for sure. We'll definitely do that. I think the hardest step is also, and I'll share this freely because I think most of us can do it, is it's hiring somebody internally within the office, project manager, office manager, whatever the hell you want to call them, and then also having to pay them too. I think that's
Mhm.
the hardest, because our first inclination is, let me hire a salesperson because that salesperson is going to bring me more business and more revenue. And then now you're going to be stuck with, I'm already driving myself crazy. Now I bring a salesperson and that salesperson is going to bring me more revenue, which is good. But now I'm also never going
Then
to see my
you,
wife. Never gonna see what I do. And I think we all go through that, right? And you guys see it, right? I went through three loan officers who left, and we wish them success. And just as quickly, we hired four, right? So, but having that consistent operations, I think, is the key, because if people are going to come and go, especially sales professionals, if your operations is consistent and you're always in it, as Mark said, but not working in the business, on the business, you'll have that much more success having that. But we'll definitely chat on that, and take it from there. Gina, how about you?
So I am 110% my own worst bottleneck. And as you were saying, the hardest part, at least for me, is to give up that control to someone else to do something for me. And let's add on that, to ask for the help at the same time. So last month, I had took some time off. I had a passing in my family, and that kind of set me back a few weeks. And in that time, I actually sat down and started doing old school stuff. Go back to the basics. The old school stuff works. I hand wrote 65 cards to bring my listing in Forked River. I have 2 listing appointments coming up. Like,
So,
so where I'm abusing myself, saying I'm my own worst bottleneck, I don't ask for help, blah, blah, blah. Well, write some notes and something else kicked in. So I know me, myself, you help me like so much to try to get regulated, and you give us all the tools. And I have to be honest, I've been a slacker for the past like month or so, but it'll get there. You guys help tremendously. This meeting helps tremendously. And I just have to get out of my own way. And I think that's a problem with a lot of us salespeople. We have so much free time, so to speak, that we don't always coordinate the way we should to just help us grow our businesses.
yeah, I think it's important. I appreciate everybody here being too, maybe vulnerable is not the word, but being transparent with some of the stuff that we do, because I can confidently attest, I think we're all going through it too. Whether it's peaks and valleys, as some of us said, to putting your head down and getting back to basics, I think is key. I say that all the time with myself and my teammates as well. So I'm just going to keep going to give everybody some of the sake of time, because I know we're just past. Gina, thank you for sharing. Definitely excited to see some of the stuff that you're doing too. Who else do we got? We got Ellie. I don't know if she could speak. I know she told me she was going to jump on to, what's it called? How about you, Virginia? Are you there? Yeah, I know people are coming.
I can
Yes.
come in on camera if you don't
Hey.
mind me doing it
Yep.
as I'm driving and not
No
looking
worries.
at you guys. Absolutely love the material you shared, and it's perfect timing, because it's literally the internal debate that I was going through, whether I should find one of those tools and invest into it, somebody else to do it, or just write myself yet another administrative assistant that will with Cloud Code Codex and all of those amazing
Mhm.
things that are like a dreamland. It's a time suck like no other. So probably my imagination tends to be my worst enemy. It gets me pulled into more projects that humanly possible to pack into the same time slot. And of course, that takes a toll at other things that are important. Like, for example, today I slept for 3 hours. I did complete a huge chunk of
Ugh.
work, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad. I think the biggest part too, at least from my earlier session, was pretty much just find a tool, find the right one. If it works, great. If it's Hootsuite, perfect. If it's Buffer, great. Put it out there, test it out. Even when we signed up, Trevor's like, "Should we do the year or the month?" And I'm like, "I'll pay a little bit more, test it out for the month. If it doesn't work, we can cancel it and keep it going, right?" And that's after we just shaved off like 8 grand, almost like $8,000 in expenses and tech stacks this month alone because I was very free to do it. And then we started cutting. And now I look at it and I'm like, wow, I was basically paying for stuff that I mean, it was great to have, but I really didn't necessarily need it along the way, which allows us the opportunity to pay, more and stuff like that. So, awesome. Who else do we got?
Thank you, Abdel.
Thank you. I think that's everyone. I'm probably gonna, Drew, do you want to share what do you got going on?
Sure. It's been a hell of a month. Bottleneck. Yeah. All right. So everybody's on the bottleneck thing. I think it's pretty evident that I'm always my bottleneck. But I have more than enough time to do a completely tear things down, as you know, since I got a lot of time now to pump into the business. This whole month has been spent looking at, all right, what do we really have the VAs really, really doing? Where do we really, really need the help? Do we really need people sitting on the phone doing this, or do we really need
Hey, boss
somebody
man.
yeah,
What's going on, Victor? How you
to
doing?
bring
Good
along
yourself?
as a
Doing all right, just sweating it out to the oldies.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so Nicole is texting me, and she has the electricians coming
Victor,
back
do you mind muting yourself, brother?
Tuesday. So she's worried that the floor or the
I think we got a hot mic here.
either way. No. Long story short, where I think more of the help is necessary is in customer service aspect. I won't say that I like to sell. I sell well. I really want to just be more of the face, preaching and teaching, bringing in work. Hey, that's Drew, and I got to get, not feel that I have to be the one to sell everything.
Mhm.
I'll have to answer every ridiculous question at 2 a.m. or something like that. So that's what this month was kind of realizing. I got to rebuild myself a little bit. I was going to rebuild Trinity the same way.
Mhm.
And that's what and I really appreciate you showing this stuff because that's letting me know exactly kind of where I need to attack. So I appreciate you, bro.
Love it. Love it. How about you, Trevor?
I mean, this last, I guess, month, same thing, kind of restructuring, trying to be as open and learning new things as I can and getting thrown into different roles, and being able to be flexible and say, I don't know how to do this, help me, or show me. I'll try to do that. Remember, I love this crew, this whole thing, and it's really allowed me to grow professionally also. So it's good stuff.
I love it. Yeah, I think the biggest part that I see in our businesses along the way is being open to change too, right? I think a lot of us sometimes, most of us have said it, right? Whether we're on home bottlenecks or whatever, but being open to change because the industry is changing. I mean, we're seeing just from high level inflation numbers to unemployment to AI data centers. I mean, it is fucking crazy. And I think if we're not changing along the way with that stuff, we're in for somewhat of a rude awakening at the same time. So being able to change your roles, your responsibilities, what you're doing, and things like that is super, super critical for us to be here forever because our bills are due, right? Every single month. So
It's a shame how that works.
yeah. I know we're a little over, so I will give a little bit of time just for the respect, and then I'll try to maybe cut my portion out a little bit, maybe shorter, because I think this part is great. Drew, how about you?
Yeah, so I've been focusing a lot on finding the right tools. So a lot of what you speak is my language. So that's why I come to these. It's great. I always learn something. I found a tool lately that's taken things that I paid a lot more for and have reduced it dramatically, which was great for me because all these softwares can really add up to, thousands and hundreds a month. So I've done that. And then I also joined a mastermind recently for SEO agencies, because like everyone else, I am the bottleneck, and I'm looking to streamline a lot of what I do and have the right SOPs for everything I do and use the right technology. So A lot of good things coming.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you guys, there's a platform that we're using as a courtesy to Drew called Dev. It's been pretty cool. So if you guys want to learn more about that and being more impactful on social media and strategic, definitely reach out to him privately, because it's been pretty cool, saving us time, what to look for Facebook groups, and if somebody says a specific word, how you could stay on top of that. That's been pretty cool. So Gil, how about you, my friend? Do you want to introduce yourself, because most of us know each other's here.
Yeah, my name is Gil. I run a customer success organization at a very large enterprise, and I work with our largest customers. My biggest challenge, my role is all about subscription renewals. I want to make sure they're renewing. And I'm starting to change the motion where we understand the value the customer's getting, and we're proving those points 90 to 120 days before that renewal to reduce friction. We started seeing retention rates going down, right? Not the direction we wanted them to go. So we're starting to look at that and build some of those muscles. The problem is the teams that do that work are overwhelmed. So we're trying to leverage AI tools to simplify the tasks so they can spend more time on the value add. That's the big one. So these tools I'm learning about today, we struggle a little bit using some of them because a lot of it's proprietary data
Sure.
of that company.
Yeah.
So we almost have to have two different channels for AI, one for the internal queries around customers at risk, et cetera, and then the external one that helps drive customers' social posting results, so we understand the value of their business or their how they define value using our solutions. Yeah, so it's a dynamic time. Like these are things we didn't think about 5 years ago.
No, and I'll tell you, I think a lot of people are doing that two-sided, where I know I'm seeing it a lot, where like you're using one for consumer interface and then one for internal database.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that is going to eventually change, especially like President Trump is putting a lot of like push, obviously typical, for AI, right? And then there's so many governing bodies that are like, no, this is the worst thing in terms of security and the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act and stuff. So kudos.
Well,
to you for
and
adopting
even what we're doing from a nationwide perspective, I think the challenge is every company has their own governance based on the type of data. You talk about credit reports in your business. For us, it's employee data, whatever it is. I think that's the big challenge. How do you query that and then tie it into something else? And using internal tools, like you can buy an enterprise version of ChatGPT that stays on your own system.
Correct.
But then it's hard to integrate it with tools like we're talking about here.
Exactly.
Yeah. That ends up being the challenge. And if you wait for a large organization of 12,000 people to do something like that, take forever. Our retention rates will drop before I come up with a solution.
Very true. I love it. Well, definitely excited to hear some of the stuff we've got. Erica, how about you?
All right. I'm Erica Campbell. I wear two hats. I'm a broker owner with Exit Platinum Realty in Montclair, and I'm also a loan officer here at PRMG and got mortgages. And basically, I'm still new to this, to the loan side of it, but I lean a lot on Abdel, Trevor, and Santi, and I'm feeling so comfortable with myself now, where I am. And along with that, when I find myself getting lost in what I'm doing, I go back to a lot of times the summary. All those notes are there. I'll go back, I might feel like maybe I missed something somewhere that I'm not getting exactly what was taught. I jump right back into the notes, which I also use a lot of times, like my calendar, which was another thing we were showing how to utilize that properly. And I find that keeps me grounded, being able to use the right tools, because just having tools doesn't make much sense if it's not the correct tools. And I find using that keeps my work flowing and keeps me going, where I'm not getting frustrated and all of that. And on the real estate side, you guys, it right now is a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
But you got to push through, and trying to bring good files here is the other thing. So it works for me now.
Cool. I love it. I think everybody had a chance to go. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I hope I'm always looking for ways to create more engagement at the same time. So I think we'll try to maybe keep going it this way. If you guys prefer, I'll drop a poll in here. I'm not going to be able to have the meeting on the 27th, unfortunately. So if you guys just want to make note, I'll cancel that. The 13th we'll do it same style, right? Yeah, because I'll be back on the 12th. Yeah, the 13th we'll do it same style, right? In person or on Zoom. You know, whatever you guys are more comfortable with. I know it's a summer. I know it's the craziness. 27th, we're just going to sneak away for a couple days with the family. Yeah, and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to drop a poll in here too. Just again heading into you know, the, let's say, September. If it's more comfortable for us to keep it, maybe a changed timeline, or you guys like this religious 11:30, 11:45, or if you guys want to do morning, just throw out just some options, especially because we have a few of us, because I want to create as much engagement as possible. And then I think we'll keep this same style, 30 minutes where I'll talk, you know, briefly on just something, and then we'll all get to hold each other's accountable and start to hear what are some of the things that we're doing, and talk privately, right? If there's something that, you know, like I go back to it, right? Victor grew 2 times. Like, what are you doing? What are the things that you're seeing success? And then we can all lean on each other's. I think they'll definitely create that environment of what will help. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys soon. If you guys need anything, let me know.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Mhm.